On June 11, 2022, around 11 p.m., a ride-sharing driver in Harbin, Heilongjiang Province, picked up a male passenger who smelled of alcohol. As soon as the passenger got into the car, he tried to light a cigarette. The driver said, "Smoke after you get out." The passenger asked, "You're not going to let me smoke, are you?" The driver confirmed, "Right." The passenger immediately made a phone call and then said to the driver, "I just want to smoke, and you won't let me. You're really stupid. You'll soon see who I am. I'll get you tonight." Welcome to Red Eastern True Crime. If you like true crime stories, please subscribe to my channel. Let's dive into this story.
下车抽。
啊？
下车抽。
不能抽是吧？不让抽烟是吗？
对。
回局里吧，兄弟。回局里。然后你让那个谁，你回去啊。我打个车，还没有营业资格证，也没有网约资格证，对吧？
对。
一个小黑车。我要回家，还不让我抽烟，那我就收拾他就完了呗。好吧，回局里吧。我就想抽根烟，你还不让我抽？我办你。那行。你前不找我干？
啊？
一会儿让你认识认识我。
行。
我就今天晚上我要办这个车，我看我能不能办了。
This passenger, Yang Yunbo, works at the Transportation Bureau in Songbei District, Harbin. After drinking outside on the night of June 11, 2022, he called a ride-sharing car on Didi to go home. A few minutes after getting into the car, Yang took out a cigarette to light it, and the driver stopped him, explaining that it's a public transportation vehicle and would affect the next passenger. Feeling offended, Yang immediately called a colleague at the Traffic Bureau to complain, insinuating that the ride-sharing car was operating illegally. He asked the driver, "Is it?" The driver confirmed. Yang deliberately put the phone on speaker for the driver to hear. Yang then told the driver to go to the Songbei District Transportation Bureau. The driver told him to change the destination on the Didi app. So Yang changed it to a residential area in Songbei District. Yang then made a second call and asked what the penalty was for illegal ride-sharing. The answer was 5,000 to 20,000 RMB, about $740 to $3,000.
哥儿，林博，那个黑车怎么罚？网约的黑车。
我这黑车2万。
好了。
5000到2万。
那个我打的车怎么办？不是那什么，我下单，我回家，然后我要抽根烟，他不让，我说他有没有证，他说他没有。我现在往站里回。
哪里？站里头啊？
对啊。
站里有人吗？
有，我让兴旺和那个谁，那个建庄生回了。
啊，1000到2万的罚款。
行了。
Yang tried to scare the driver, but the driver remained calm.
我在车抽烟，我问你一嘴，我说你有证，你说你没有。
哎，兄弟，吵着小点声，我能听见。
没事啊，走。
Yang kept insisting that he just wanted to smoke and go home, not cause any trouble. The driver repeatedly explained that it was a public transportation vehicle, and that the next passenger would be forced to smell the smoke. Yang said, "Fine, you're right."
行，都行，你说的对，您说的都对。
你说是不是也有道理？
对，您说的都对，没问题，都没问题。我只想回家。我就想抽根烟。
我知道了，哥，你停了，你歇会儿啊，你歇会儿。
我换个地方呗。
还有15分钟到，你歇会儿。
行，没事儿。
Then Yang called his colleague to remind him to bring the enforcement documents, mentioning that the fine amount was 50,000 to 20,000 RMB. The driver corrected him that it was 5,000 to 20,000 RMB. Yang insisted that 2 enforcement officers were needed, not just 1. Yang mentioned that fines could be issued today and approved tomorrow, but the driver noted that without an official stamp, the fine would be invalid. The driver was familiar with the procedure and knew that without a stamp on the traffic violation decision, he could refuse to pay the fine. Yang said that he had the stamp and that he could decide the punishments and examinations.
处罚审核在我。
啊，处罚在你。哎呦我天，那你这权力挺大呀。
没事不大。
啊？
我咋没有权利？我什么权利都没有。
你签字好使，那可不就那啥呗？你权力大呀。
没有，我就是想抽根烟，想回家，是您不让我抽烟回家。
对。
Yang made another phone call, delegating work like a boss. Before reaching the destination, the driver asked, "What department are you with?" Yang laughed and said, "I'm just a hospitable citizen." The car soon arrived at Yang's designated location, and the enforcement officers were already there. The driver wasn't worried or scared. He took out his phone to start recording evidence. The video showed one uniformed officer and another in a black t-shirt and jeans, but with a badge, checking the newly arrived driver's friend's license.
今天是2022年6月11日晚上，大概11点左右，我在江北接了一位乘客，从江北去江南，上车不到10分钟，告诉我能抽颗烟吗？我说不能。他说你有证吗？我说没有。
我举报了。
对，他说他实名举报，找来所谓的交通局的人员。
你们有朋友吧？是不是？我就是。
来，我看一眼。
我明天把你们仨的关系给你挖出来。
这位。
我要不挖你们仨关系给我挖出来。
然后这位。
怪了。再一个，
晚上执法不穿工装，看了吧？不穿工装。
是维修值班人员。我是。
然后来了一位。
看不出来我车是不是因为车辆吗？你们业务是怎么学的？
又来一位，这位穿工装了。
开车你不让啊？对，你来，你先看吧。
来，等会儿，我看一眼。
等会儿，我先处理他，你等会儿。
哎呀
In the video, the uniformed officer was Zhou Xingwang, and the one in the black t-shirt was Zhang Chen, both officials from the Harbin Transportation Bureau's operations station. Passenger Yang was borrowed from another department of the Transportation Bureau, and his original department was not disclosed. Netizens later found out that Officer Zhang's badge was valid from January 2021 to the 13th month of 2022, while uniformed Officer Zhou deliberately avoided letting the driver see his badge.
我一朋友来了，看又抓住不放，你看看，又抓住不放。
你也要相互配合啊，咱们不能随意啊。
看看多横！
逼住你啊！
这还没穿工装。看看，这个倒是穿工装，咱不知道这是谁，这有编码。啊，这有编码，我看一眼你的名行吗？
等一会儿我处理这个事儿。你现在是干什么呢？你是这个啊，不要给我影响我办案啊。
看，不知道是不是公务员，我不知道啊。说热心市民上车就要抽烟，我问一下，公共交通工具能抽烟吗？你能抽烟，下一乘客怎么办？就是这种乘客的素质，你说这还举报？可以了，
我举报您是因为您没证。
对，我没证，你告我没毛病，你明儿你准上网。
啊，你好，
网红，哎，你好，
请出示营业证、资格证。
啊，
请出示您的营业证、资格证，我接到群众举报。
Surprisingly, Officer Zhou checked the licenses of the driver and his friend and found everything to be in order.
因为你们仨一伙儿钓鱼执法吗？
你为什么举报？
钓鱼执法吗？
司机没让你抽烟吗？
对呀，
是不是没让你抽烟？
你能抽烟吗？公共交通工具你能抽烟？你能抽烟呢？
我给你查出来是不是啊？我不是啊。明天我肯定给你查。
明天你就查着了。
必须查你。
还一天。
查着你们仨人的关系。
或者细检查检查。
可以，
没问题。
我今儿举报我是半夜来的，我是没办法了。
对，就来一个人执法，第二个人拿着证工装不穿。
你可以挖我，因为我整个执法流程我也
是我知道，我说这没穿制服就来，咱也不知道是真是假呀，这是真的假的。
谢谢您配合啊，
你给我了。
我半夜接到举报来了啊，我现在查您的有效证件全部有效。
全部有效？那他这算什么呀？
你这举报
热心市民，
你这举报的无效。
无效。
举报他没有营运手续。如果你再有意见，打市长。
When he heard that the report was invalid, Yang couldn't believe his ears. He stared at the driver with wide eyes and said, "You have a license? Then why did you say you didn't? You're lying to me."
不是，那你有执法手续，你有手续，为什么告诉我没有啊？
我为啥告诉你啊？你是警察呀？你问我，我不告诉你咋的？我有没有跟你有关系吗？
那不对呀，你在欺骗我呀！
我欺骗你啥了？
对啊，
我欺骗你啥了？我有没有证跟你有啥关系？你啊，对，你可以告我。
我问问你有没有，你可以告诉我你有，也可以告诉我你没有。
没有，
是不是你原话说的？没有，
没有，咋的了？
那你为什么要骗我？
我
你骗我以后，所以我才举报的。
那你报警吧，这个归警察管了。
他现在影不影响我正常网页是？
Yang's arrogance vanished in an instant. The onlookers, including the driver's friend and some bystanders, questioned the actions of the Transportation Bureau officers. Officer Zhou explained to the driver that he was on duty that night, responding to a citizen's complaint. He said, "I don't know Yang. If he delayed your work time, that's between the two of you. I checked your licenses and they're valid." In 2016, the Chinese government issued regulations on the management of online ride-hailing services, requiring ride-hailing drivers to obtain an online ride-hailing transportation certificate and an online ride-hailing driver certificate. Without these, operation is considered illegal and subject to heavy fines. It's reasonable for passengers to ask ride-hailing drivers if they have the necessary licenses. However, when Yang asked the driver about his license, his tone was unfriendly and threatening. The driver, annoyed by Yang's request to smoke, replied that he didn't have a license just to see what Yang would do next. The next day, June 12th, the driver, Mr. Ding, uploaded the car's dashcam footage and his cell phone video to the internet. It quickly attracted attention and was widely shared, with netizens praising the driver's wise response. That night, the incident became a trending topic on Weibo. Mr. Ding also reported the matter to Harbin's Commission for Discipline Inspection, asking the Transportation Authority to handle the case and provide him with an answer.
到后来发现啊，原来你有证啊！我有证之后呢，他们三个对视一眼，好像一种很失望的样子。半夜12点来出这个现场，交警有没有这么大的执法力度我都不知道。没想到一个交通局居然有这么大的执法力度，我很难不让人怀疑啊，这里头有什么利益链啊，不敢说。一会儿我打12388纪委热线，我实名举报。
The rapid escalation of the incident left Yang feeling out of control. He called Mr. Ding to arrange a meeting, but Mr. Ding's response left him speechless.
喂，你是昨天晚上打我车那人是不是？你有什么事儿啊？你找我呀？你有什么事儿啊？你要跟我见一面，你要干啥呀？杀我呀？滴滴平台有规定，不允许跟乘客见面，私下见面，知道吧？刚才我在群里看啊，有人说你们钓鱼执法不是一回了。继续说，你要找我干点啥？说话呀！信号断了啊？信号断了。
我就吧见你一面，你说吧，你说这些我也知道。
我没功夫。对，我没功夫，你就别再打了啊！是不是你就想见我吧？没有别的事儿，是不是？
没有别的事儿。
啊，没有别的事儿，那就妥了，那就妥了。
Yang had said in Mr. Ding's car, "I'll make sure you know who I am." Now, he was famous online. On June 13th, the Songbei District Traffic Bureau in Harbin quickly issued a notice. 2 enforcement officers, Zhou Xingwang and Zhong Chen, were severely reprimanded within the party and removed from their enforcement positions. Yang, the Transportation Bureau loaned employee, was fired. In addition, the head of the Transportation Operations Station, relevant officials from the Transportation Bureau, and the director of the Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau, a total of 9 people, were punished. However, netizens were not satisfied with this result. Some noted that Officer Zhou was wearing a green 2020 Rolex Submariner, which cost 140,000 RMB, about $21,000, and was using a Huawei Mate X2 phone, which cost 19,000 RMB, about $2,800. For an ordinary civil servant with a monthly salary of about $1,000, these items seemed unaffordable. Many netizens reported this issue to the Harbin Discipline Inspection Commission. On the afternoon of June 15th, the commission responded, acknowledging several reports from citizens. They confirmed that it was indeed a Rolex Green Submariner, worth 140,000 RMB, and stated that an investigation was underway. However, the results of this investigation have not yet been officially announced. In past cases of government officials wearing luxury watches, a common explanation was that the watches were counterfeit. However, an online post claimed that the official explanation was that the watch had been temporarily borrowed from a pawn shop for 1 day and returned the next day. The office claimed to have severely reprimanded him. If this were the actual result of the investigation, it would be an insult to the intelligence of the Chinese people. In China, in addition to the police and courts, many enforcement agencies such as urban management, traffic management, transportation management, agricultural management, and environmental protection agencies often engage in entrapment, violent enforcement, and heavy fines, leading to widespread public contempt. Mr. Ding's actions showed Yang the consequences of his behavior, illustrating the principle that bad actions lead to bad results. However, these consequences may be superficial. The actual amount of money pocketed by these enforcement agencies from fines imposed on people and companies remains undisclosed in this non-transparent system. What do you think about this case? Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more crime stories, please like and subscribe to my channel.